And welcome back.
To Marriage Beyond the Veil. Well, I have a question.
Of
So,
course you do.
I actually looked up the word craving. So, what does craving mean?
According to Merriam-Webster,
Mm-hmm.
it's an intense,
Mm-hmm.
urgent, or abnormal desire or longing.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
Intense. All right. So, in relationships, I feel like sometimes when things sort of get mundane
okay,
or they sort of get, or even if they're in a bad space, sometimes people go back to craving things of the past. So sometimes craving a way that something makes them feel. So I know, a female, I said, well, might get dressed up and go out in hopes that somebody will catcall them. Or,
is that a thing?
yeah, unfortunately it is. Or, they may reach out to somebody that they've known before just to hear those words, you're beautiful, da 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 this, da 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 da. And I feel like that's sort of a craving for the times of yesteryear or things past. So my question
Or just
is,
to be appreciated.
or just to be, yeah,
right.
just to be appreciated. So my question is, when you get to feeling that way, or if you feel that way, what is it that you can do to turn that around?
When you say you, are you speaking about
the person who's having those cravings?
Okay. What can one do?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so I mean, have you ever felt like you weren't appreciated, honestly, and
this is what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
What should one do? I think anytime you're feeling like you're being overlooked, your needs aren't being met, you're being taken for granted, any of that, it's time to have a conversation. You need to make people aware of what's going on, because many times we will sit and stew and say, well, she should know, he should know, whatever the case may be. But did you tell them?
Right.
Because just because you think a certain way doesn't mean that the other person is going to think the same way or see things the same. And when you, in your mind, because that's how you think and that's how you process stuff, that's the lens that you look through. But if you want to be certain, if someone knows what your experience is, what you're dealing with, what you're going through, what you're missing, what you desire, make it known. And if you're not comfortable enough to make your interests, your desires, your feelings, any of that known, then there's a greater problem. Because I would suggest that you're not yet prepared to be in a relationship. If you don't feel comfortable enough to address your concerns, your desires, your wants, your hurts, your feelings, all of that.
Yeah, and I agree. Because I feel like when you're craving something, okay, so the first thing I always say when you're craving something is, do you really need it?
And it doesn't matter whether you need it or not. The fact that you're craving, because go back to the definition that Merriam-Webster gives, it's an intense, urgent, abnormal, right?
Right.
Desire or longing. So the point is, if it's something that you're craving, sooner or later you're going to want to get what you're craving. And you may get it in a different place.
So I agree to disagree. Because I feel like if you're craving something and you first try to figure out why you're craving it. Okay. That's the first thing. Figure out why you're craving it. Is it that you really need it, or is it just something that you want? Once you determine that, then I think you have a way to go forward.
Well, I mean, but taking your argument, there's a lot of things that people crave that they don't necessarily need.
It's true. I agree.
Right. So my point is, do you need it? Needing is not the issue. I mean, now you can... No. When we're talking strong desire,
right,
and all of that, it is indeed a want. Now, whether it's a need or not, right, be able to say, okay, do I need this? Do I want this? And even if I don't need it, how much do I want it? I think that's a question you have to ask.
And I agree 100%. How much do you want it? But I also agree that you have to understand why you're craving what you're craving. And then for me, personally, what I have to do is take it to God, and I just have to start praying, because I have to say, okay, God, take this craving or this desire or this whatever away from me, first and foremost. And then ask myself, why am I craving this? What is the real issue? What is the real challenge? Once I get that under wraps, then I feel like I can proceed forward.
Well, the real issue is the old song. What? It's me, it's me, oh Lord. Not my mother, not my father. Until tomorrow, if the Lord says the same, because this is going to go on.
Have a good evening.